but in this era we are in, it's much more easier to learn. Okay, and we are going to walk you through how to deal with analytics generally. So before we start with the hands-on, I'll just need to lay foundation for us. Okay, so that's the foundation we are going to use to do our analytics. So it all starts with data, right? But you see, before that data will come, before the data will come in the office, in whatever role you are playing, one thing we all have in common is that what we are all taking decisions. Hmm? We are all taking what decisions. Irrespective of our level, we are all taking decisions. But in taking this decision, what will guide us in taking these decisions? Is it based on our gut feelings or what our pastor said? How do you take decisions? It can be interactive, so you can always talk or put in the chat. So how do we take decisions? Yeah? Yes, Miriam, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, good evening. My name is Mara Mujaya. So, personally, I take decision based on data. Take data-driven decisions, not just based on instincts. Based on data.
So this we take should be based on facts, is it not? And where do we get that fact from? We get the fact from data. Now, what we have when we hear data, right? When we hear data, because data in their natural form don't make any sense, right? So that's why you need to process that data for it to become information. It is from that information we will draw insights, and it's based on that insight that will drive our strategy. And that's our link between what data, information, right? Insight and strategy. So we are seeing that data enables us to what craft and what adjust our strategy. So the whole essence of what we are doing is using data to drive strategy. Irrespective of your role, we are using data to what drive what strategy. So when we hear data, I'm sure what comes to our mind is figures. Those things we are using Excel, rows and columns. Yes, that's part of it. But now data goes beyond numbers and text, right? So data now can be visual, like videos, audio, images, right? These are now different kind of what data. And from all these data, we need to what process this data to draw what insights. So it all starts with what the data. But you see, before the data will come in, it starts with a problem. It starts with a problem. Either sales is declining, many of our employees, the jackpot syndrome, most employees are leaving the organization. So why is sales dropping? Why are employees leaving? So this is the problem. Why is cost going high? So these are different problems that we can have. So it starts with the problem. But based on that problem, you need to what? Be more specific by raising what? Questions. So from the problem, we'll be able to what? Raise what? Questions. Management may be the one raising the question, or you yourself as the analyst is thinking, right? And raising what? Setting what? Questions. So it is based on these questions that management want answers to. You will now be clear what the objective of your analysis is. Because at the end of the day, your objective is to provide insights to those answers, to provide answers to those questions they have raised. So from the problem, we raise questions. From that question, we are clear the objective of our analysis. And to provide answers to that question, we need what? Data. So the data can either be internal or external. If the data is internal, what do? We need to what? Generate it. If it's external, we need to what? Request for it. And that's why how you collect your data will determine how you are going to analyze it. How you collect your data will determine how you are going to analyze it. And this is why, irrespective of your role, you must build some level of what? Data literacy. You must build some level of what? Data literacy. Whether you are in sales, you are in HR. I'm sure before now, maybe 5-10 years ago, if you're applying for the role of HR, nobody disturbs you with anything database or anything, right? So you have your normal BSc HR, human resource. You have master, that's fine. You do one professional, that's okay. But now, in addition to that, you must be knowledgeable in Excel, knowledgeable in database, knowledgeable in analytics. You will now be wondering, since when the HR become mathematics? And that's how almost every role has started changing. And that's why when we apply data analytics to a particular domain, so if I apply data analytics to the domain of HR, we now refer to it as what? HR analytics. If I apply data analytics to the role of accounting, we'll call it what? Accounting analytics. If I apply data analytics to the domain of sales, we'll call it what? Sales analytics. So we start hearing some big words, but basically the same thing that you know. So even in your role, you are doing data analytics, but probably you may not term it analytics, but actually that's what you are doing. And that's why one thing that will guide us is our domain knowledge. Know it so well. The only difference now is that when we come, we are going to now teach you the data analytics tools to apply it in your own domain. Because if I have a HR problem, I call a data analyst who knows Python, knows all the analytic tools. But he's just a generalist. And I have somebody who studied HR and learned data analytics. Who will you rather take? A generalist or the person who is specialized in HR? Who will you rather take? Yes, who will you rather pick? Yeah? So who will you rather take? Someone who is a generalist, he knows all the tools, everything, or someone who knows the domain and also know the tools? Who will you rather take?
Someone who knows the domain and knows the tool.
Why will you take someone that knows both?
Because the room for error will be less.
Yes. Beyond that, what else? There's another important part. What else?
Because it will be believed to be accurate.
Because the way he's going to
factual.
Yes, because the way he's going to interpret that data is different from the way a general data analyst would have interpreted it. Because first of all, you need to know how is this variables, how they measure, what does it mean? You have done all the technical, mechanical things, right? But what does it mean as a HR person? And that's where your domain knowledge comes to play. So that's why the first thing, the foundation of anything you are doing is your domain. So whatever data set you see, ask yourself, what domain, what industry does this data belong to? Then you are going to put yourself in the role of that data or as role of that. And that's why, as a data analyst, it's very interesting because you wear many hats. As the projects come, you are wearing different hats. If the project is in HR, it is in sales, it's in marketing, you'll be putting yourself as a marketing person, as a sales person, as a finance person. So that's why that domain knowledge is very important. So whatever domain you are in, know it very well now. Okay? The next aspect, once you know your domain, the next aspect, what are the mathematical and statistical tools I need to learn? Then what are the programming this I need to? These are now the different areas we now need to start building. Okay? But at the end of the day, remember remember, the whole essence of this is to provide answers to management. So there's a problem in the organization. Management have raised certain questions. Based on those questions, you are clear with your objective. And what's the objective? Is to provide answers to those questions. And to provide answers, what do you need? I need data. The data can be internal or it can be what? External. Right? Now, most times, the data in the organization does not sit inside Excel. Where does it sit? Where does the data sit? Yeah, where does the data sit? The data in your organization, where does it stay? Or where do they keep it? Yeah?
It's still sometimes on the cloud or on the web.
On the web. So that place is what we refer to as what? A database. It's called what? A database. So when you say IT, I need data from January to date. It's not, they will go there. It's not, query it and send to you. Maybe as a CSV file, right? Then you now open it in Excel. It didn't sit in Excel, it was in a database. So that means most data in the organization actually stored where? In the database. So what's your job as the analyst now? Your job to extract that data, analyze that data, and what? Report. So when you say report, view the dashboard. And what is more important, right, is how you would present that what? Report, how you present the insights to what? Management through what? Storytelling. So across the entire value chain, what are we seeing? There are different skill sets we need to learn. Remember, from the side of problem, identifying the problem, raising the question, that's more like a business analyst who understands the industry, the domain, the business, the product, right? He understands it very well. He understands the problem, he raises questions. Now, in terms of the data, you will now need to what? Extract that data from that database. To extract that database, there's a skill you will need to learn. And to communicate with that database, we need to learn what they call SQL. Have you heard of SQL before? SQL. Yes. Structured query language. So that's the language we use to communicate with the database. Now, once we extract that data, the data will never be clean, is it not? So it means we need to clean and transform that data. So we need to analyze it. But before we analyze, we need to clean and transform it. And there are different tools we can use. One of them is the common one, Excel, you know. Which other tool can we use to clean data, clean and transform, analyze? Which tool can we also use?
And Google Sheets.
Google Sheet, okay. Then we have Python, we have R. You know. But still the number one is still what? Excel. You know, in every software, there are three important buttons. In every software, there are three important buttons. You know them? Okay, cancel, and the last one is what? Export to Excel. Because if you look at different systems, especially like ERPs, right? Most of these softwares, when they finish their report, they are not so user-friendly. So you need to export it to Excel, adjust them, it's not before you now present. So that's why Excel is still the number one data analytic tool globally. But the challenge is that it is the most widely used and also the most widely abused. Right? It is the most widely used and also the most widely abused. So in analyzing the data, we can use Excel, we can use Python, we can use R. So after we have analyzed it, what do we do next? We now need to build our report or our dashboard. Okay? There are different tools we can use, and one of them is what? Power BI, which is what we are going to be looking at today. Power BI. You also have another one, which is your Tableau. Which is your what? Tableau. Okay. Then once you have built that dashboard, then you now need to present it to management, right? And when you are communicating, that's one that language that you must learn how to communicate to management. Especially most of us who are in technical departments, we also need to be able to communicate these insights in a way non-technical people will understand it. So we can do that through what? Story or telling. So what we have seen that there are different skill sets we are going to need as what? Data analysts. But the first skill set you need to have is what? Your domain knowledge. Wherever domain you are, know it very well. Whatever domain you are, know it very well. And that's why you see, in this day and age, things have changed. You know, the game somehow has changed. Because with introduction of AI, the game has now changed. Right? But not that the game has completely changed. The thing is that the way we are learning AI, data analytics before, is what has gradually changed. So you must still understand those basics. The AI is just there to support you. And that's why we always tell you that the AI is not going to replace you as data analyst. It's those data analysts that they can do your job 10 times faster. They can present the insights much more easier than you. They can what? Make decisions on time. Because don't forget that if your data is not proper, it will take you longer time to clean and transform it. And this is why we see 80 to 90% of the time you actually clean and transform rather than analyze. So if it takes you longer time to clean and transform, it means it takes you longer time to build your report. If it takes you longer time to build your report, it takes longer time for management to take what? Decisions. So that's why we must build that mindset that every data we keep today or we collect today must be kept in a format ready for what? Analysis. The moment we miss that, every other thing becomes what? A challenge. So how do I what? Structure that what? Data? Because at the end of the day, I need to build what? A dashboard. So I will quickly share my Excel screen. Let me stop sharing. Let me see if I can share my Excel screen. Please, you let me know if you can see my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, you can see it.
You can see my screen. Beautiful. Now, before you
No,
start
sir.
analyzing, yeah,
I can't see your screen, sir.
you can't see my screen. It's showing I'm sharing already, though, but
Yes, I can see it.
you can see it.
Did you
Okay.
join with
Yes,
your
I can see
phone?
it now.
All
You
right.
can see it
I
now.
can
Okay.
see it now.
You can see it now. All right.
I
Good.
cannot see it here.
It's probably a network. It's probably a network.
No, I'm not seeing it here.
But some people can confirm they can see my screen.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. And let me believe that most of us have used Excel before, right? Have we all used Excel? Have we all used Excel?
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
yes. No, sir.
No. Now, we want to work with Power BI, but we need to understand that Excel and Power BI is just like looking at Power BI is like the Gen Z version of Excel. You know the Gen Z. Excel is like their own the ancestor. So let me explain the history for you so that you understand it. So whenever we collect data, right? Whenever we collect data, there are certain rules that we must follow. Because when we are using Excel as an analytic tool, there are basically three sheets we are going to work with. We have our data sheet, analysis sheets, and report sheets. So report sheets where we build our dashboard. So the first thing we need to do is that to make sure that this data is kept in a proper structure that is ready for analysis. And how do we know if our data will be ready for analysis? There are 7 rules we normally use. 7 rules. What are those rules? The first one is that there should be no what? Empty rows. Can you see that? No empty rows. In this data set, do we have any empty rows? In this data set, do we have any empty rows? If you look at this data set, do we have any empty rows?
No.
No, okay. The second one is that there should be no empty columns. Do we have any empty column here? Do we have any empty column in this data?
No, we don't.
No, sir.
Okay, good. Another one, we should have 1 row of header. 1 row of header. Do we have 1 row of header here? So when you say 1 row of header, this is what we mean by 1 row of header. Can you see 1 row of header?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
1 row of header, beautiful. Now, another thing again, there should be no total or subtotal. There should be no total or subtotal. Do we have any total in this data set? Do we have any total in this data set?
No.
There should be no total or subtotal. Okay? There should be no total or subtotal. Another thing again, and that rule is that all dates must be in a single column. All dates must be in a single column. Okay? Are the dates on a single column? Are the dates on a single column?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are on a single column. Yes. So this is what we mean by all dates should be on a single column. The next thing is that all variables or categories be in a single column. You can see that, for example, our date, our product, category, region. Can you see they are all on single columns? Can you see that? All our variables, date, category, they should all be on a single column. So, for example, if I have sales rep, I should not have something like this: David, Choma, Ibrahim. I should not have something like this. They should all be on a single column. So rather, we have maybe sales rep, and I will have David, Choma, Ibrahim. This is what we mean. So it should be on a single word column. Clear? Good. So we say 7 basic rules. The first one is what? Our first rule is what?
No empty rows.
2.
No empty
No empty column.
rows.
3.
1 row of headers.
4.
No total or subtotal.
No total.
That means they should not come here and go and sum up everything here. Don't do it. 5.
All dates must
All
be
dates
in
must
a
be
single
All date
column.
must be on a single column. Good. 6.
All
All
variables
variables or categories should be
must
in
be
a
on a
single
single
column.
column.
Good. Then the last one, there should be no obstruction. No obstruction around your data. That means don't type anything like this thing we are typing here. Don't type anything there. Can you see that? It should be clean like this. This is how your table should look like. If your table does not follow this rule, just know the enemy should be after you. What would have taken you 10 minutes to do will take you 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 week, 1 month. So that's the mindset you. Every data we collect today, right, is going to be analyzed sometime in the future. So we need to keep it in a format ready for analysis. Even if you want to use AI, AI cannot help you.
Okay.
because the data is not properly or structured. So you must follow this rule, and this is how you work with in Excel. Now, the challenge now is that Excel has still been. Remember what I said? If you go back, look at your organization, the data I've been working with, does it follow this rule?
Yes.
Because
Does.
some of
Yes.
us, for some of us, yes, some of it, that's how I met it, and that's how we have been doing it. And that's why some of us are suffering. Because something that should have taken us 10 minutes, we'll use the whole night, whole weekend to be trying to do it.
To do what?
Because we have missed the basic structure of it.
So no empty,
All right.
no empty.
Now,
No obstruction. All variables must categories on the same line. In all dates. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fine.
all right, let's go. Now, you see, before now, remember I told you that Excel is the most widely used tool, is it not? Most widely used, and also the
Shall I bring your phone?
sorry, please can we mute? So remember we said that Excel is the most widely used analytic tool, is it not? And it's also the most widely abused. And that's where our problem starts. How we keep the data. How is that data structured? So before now, when we collect data, especially when we are collecting data from different departments, they are all keeping them in different structures. In 2010, Microsoft came up with one tool known as what? Power Pivot. Have you heard of Power Pivot before? Have you heard of Power Pivot? Yes.
Yes.
Please, can we mute, please? Danny, please try and mute from back. Your back. Okay. Have we heard of Power Pivot before now? Power Pivot.
Yes.
Okay, if you have not heard of Power Pivot, have you heard of Pivot Table? Have you heard of Pivot Table?
Yes.
Power Pivot is like the senior brother of Pivot Table. It's the senior brother, Power. It uses a language known as what? DAX. Now, because we collect data from different departments, they are all in different structures. So we need to find a way to connect all of them together. So it used that by trying to help us build what? A data model. Right? So we can establish relationship between them. So in 2010, they came up with this tool known as what? Power Pivot. Now the challenge is that when you collect that data from different departments, they are not in the same structure. That means we need to clean and transform it. So your Power Pivot kind of build a data model for you, right? So in 2013, Microsoft came up with a tool known as what? Power Query. Have we heard of Power Query?
Yes.
Have we heard of Power Query?
Yes.
And Power Query uses a language called M. And what is Power Query used for? What is Power Query used for?
Used for cleaning data.
Data cleaning and
Data.
transformation. Cleaning and transformation. You know?
Large
Or
data.
yes, or you hear ETL, extract, transform, and load. Yeah? Load. So it's used for what? Cleaning and transforming that data. You see, it's still Excel. Oh. Now, after you have done all your analysis, you will now take it to a PowerPoint, now do your presentation. Now, in 2015, Microsoft said, we have heard your cry. So they now combine all the power tools, your Power Pivot, Power Query, the DAX, the N, all your power maps and everything with the PowerPoint listing. In 2015, they came up with a product known as what? Power BI. So do you believe now that Power BI is Excel? Huh? You see that Power BI is Excel? Yes.
Senior of Excel.
No, it is the Gen Z. No, it's not the senior. It's the Gen Z.
Gen Z.
It's the Gen Z. Yes.
Wow.
Excel is the ancestor. So Excel is not even the
Okay.
ancestor. It's more like the millennial or the baby boomer head. Baby boomer, exactly. Baby boomer. So we now have a Gen Z version known as what? Power BI. So Power BI is more of what? A data visualization. Sorry, please, can we mute? Okay. It's more for what? Data what? Visualization. All right? It's more for, but the knowledge you have in Excel is what you are going to use in Power BI. So that's why once your data follows this structure, the first thing we do in Excel is to what? Convert to table. Do we know how to convert to table in Excel? So once you see, oh, my table follows this, my 7 rules, your first step is to what? Convert to table. How do we convert to table? In Excel. How do you convert to table in Excel? Yeah?
Insert table.
Insert table or Control T. Control T, you know? Convert to
Yes.
what? Table. Once you have converted to table, immediately label that table. Don't say I will do it later. Do it immediately. So let me call it what? Sales. Why do we need to convert to table? What's the reason we need to convert to Excel table? What's the reason we need to convert to Excel table? What's the reason we convert to Excel table? Why do we need to convert to an Excel table? Yes. Why do we need to convert to an Excel table?
To make the calculation easier.
To make the calculation easier. Okay. Yes. Part of it. What else? Because, for example, if I wanted to calculate revenue, so if I type revenue here, can you see that? If I type equal to quantity times price and I press enter, can you see that? What has happened? That's automatically done what? The calculation for me. Which means the reason why you always convert to an Excel table is because of what? Automation. Because of what? Automation. So that means once I have done my report once, next week, once new data has come, we just update this data. That's all. Click refresh, and my whole report will change. But if I don't do that, it means I have to go manually and do the analysis again, take it to the report, update it again manually. So the reason why we convert to table is because of what? Automation. I will make sure that what? My table here in Excel has been converted to table. I will save it. Can I see that? I will what? Save it. So sales data, I will save it. Make sure you convert to what? Table. Why do we say we need to convert to table? What's the reason for converting to table?
For automation.
For automation. That's it.
Automation.
For automation, exactly. So that's why when we are going to Power BI, you are still trying to build a dashboard. But the only difference is that you can still do your dashboard in Excel, but it's a bit more manual, right? There's a whole lot of things you can do. But the truth is that anything you can do in Power BI, you can actually do in Excel to some extent. But remember, because it's a Gen Z, it has some new ways of doing certain things that Excel cannot do. Okay? For example, if we build a dashboard, we can set a trigger or an alert. So imagine like you are managing an inventory or a store. Your dashboard is like, so anytime the data is updated and you reach a certain threshold or the inventory drops a certain threshold, immediately you send you an email that your inventory has gotten below what? The minimum you need to what? Reorder. It will send you an email. Can Excel do that one for you? Can Excel do that for you? Can Excel do that for you? to send you an email?
No. No.
Unless you are a wizard in
No.
Excel. Unless you are a wizard in Excel, but it can't just do that for you. But there are certain things in Power BI that can do for you. So that's why in Power BI, three versions for you. There's the one you download, which is called your Power BI desktop. Right? There's another one again, we call the Power BI service. So that's the one online. One you download. So when you are downloading, please download it from Microsoft Store. From the Microsoft Store. Now, the reason is that if you go to their website to download it, one advantage that Power BI has that every month there's an update. Every month there's an update. So automatically, if you download it through the Microsoft Store, it will be updated automatically every month for you. Automatically. But if you download it direct from the website, it means every month you have to go to that website and download it one after the other. So that's why it's best download from the Office Store or the Microsoft Store. Okay. Now we also have the Power BI service. So the moment you are done with your report, you publish it online. So which means you can send it to your manager and they can look at it anywhere. So they can look at it on your Power BI mobile. So they can use a tablet, a phone to look at the same report you are looking at in the office. They look at it. So while they are going for the meeting, they can interact with the dashboard while it's there. But this is the one we are going to be working with, Power BI desktop. Are we clear so far? Are we clear so
Yes,
far?
sir.
So we are trying to lay foundation for us. Okay. Some of us are saying, jump to the dashboard. That is what I'm here for. But if you miss the essence of what you are doing, why you are doing it, right? Then you will just be doing it mechanically. So that's why in this era we are in, AI is here to guide you. But if you don't know what to do with the AI, it will do anything for you now. But how do you even know what he has done for you is correct? So that's why with your knowledge of what he needs to do, then you need to guide it on what he needs to do. Okay? So that's what we are going to look at today. So we are dealing with Power BI. No matter the reporting tool you are going to use, there are basically 5 things you need to do. Whatever tool you are going to use, there are 5 things you need to understand. First of all, how do I import data? How do I import data? Okay. The next thing I need to ask myself, how do I clean and transform data? Sorry, please, can you mute? Sorry, can you mute? Can you please mute from behind? Okay, thanks. The next thing we need to do is how to build a data model. How to build a data model. Okay. The next one is how to build a measure, or what's our DAX. Yeah, data analysis expression. Then the last one is your report or your data visualization. That's building your dashboard. Okay. What we are going to see, building the dashboard is the list of your problem. It is the list of your problem. Importing it may not also be a big problem. The only challenge is that when you are importing from different places, and when you are importing, so one good thing about Power BI, you can import from more than 100 sources of data. The most common one we find is that it can be an Excel file, it can be a CSV file, right? It can be a folder, it can be a PDF file, it can be from a website, or it can even be from a database, like my SQL database or SQL server, an SQL database. So you can actually download and import data from these different sources. Now, let me ask. Sorry, mute your mic, please. Now, can we differentiate between an Excel file and a CSV file? Can we differentiate an Excel file from a CSV file?
Yes.
So what's the difference between an Excel file and a CSV file?
Excel ends with XL something, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's how I
Oh,
know
that's how you
Excel.
know. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Any other one? Difference between Excel and CSV
Excel
file.
files are structured. Excel files are structured.
Mhm.
CSV are structured.
Okay. How many of us have cried because of Excel? How many of us have cried because of Excel?
Yeah, I think CSV sometimes has commas.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
You know
commas.
why we are saying it like this? Because we have not cried because of this problem. The day you cry because of CSV and Excel, that day you never forget it. It is better you learn it from somebody's experience than experience it yourself. Now, a CSV, you tell is comma separated. You tell IT on a Friday, management say, please, I need this report on Monday. We are presenting to board. Say yes. On Friday, say IT, please, I need this data from January to date. They will send you a file. You will open it in Excel. You will be doing all your dashboard, do everything. On Sunday, I've worked on it on Sunday. Say, okay, let me save. Even while you are saving, it will tell you something. And most times, just like when you're installing something, you bring up terms and conditions. How many of us read the terms and conditions? You just say next, next, next. It will give you a warning. And what is that warning it will give you? When you save a CSV file, what's the warning it usually gives you? Or we have never read it. That's why I say if we have never cried because of this, it's better you hear it from somebody's mouth than you experience it. It will tell you that what? CSV file only save one sheet. Other files will be deleted permanently. Do you want to continue? Because it's written something, you don't even read it. You say, okay. And your dashboard, you still see it. You still see it. And most time you don't even bother it because it's on your system. But that day you save it and say, okay, let me send it. It will tell you, it's okay, let me see the file. You open it. It is that file they sent you on Friday is what you are going to see. Then you start calling IT, panicking and crying. I cannot find the thing I worked over the weekend. Many people have lost jobs, gotten queries because of these little things. In fact, you'll be calling IT in the middle of the night, like a medical doctor, 20 missed calls. You will not be wondering, since when the IT become an emergency situation? And an Excel problem is not an IT problem, it's a you problem. So don't accuse IT for everything. It's not an IT thing. That is why it is better you hear it than experience it. Excel can save multiple sheets. CSU saves one sheet. Write it down now. Excel. So the moment they send it to you, see as a CSV file, immediately before the enemy start laughing at you, go and save as an Excel file to avoid story that touch. Because in Excel, the enemies must always be at work. They can never leave you alone. They will always be at work. As you're working, before you know it, Excel has stopped responding. Before you know it, the file will disappear. You can't even find it anywhere. I see that. So that's why you must understand the kind of files you work with. But the common ones we work with are Excel, CSV, folders. Now, folders means that imagine you are doing a report every week, or every month, or every quarter. Let's say it's every week. So for the first time you are doing it, you spend time to build the structure. Now, the only thing you are going to beg them, if this is the way you have been doing your nonsense, please maintain with that nonsense. Just maintain the madness like that. Don't change. So once you have built that report, clean it up. Every week, all you do, you just copy that file and paste in that folder and click refresh. That's all. The whole report will be refreshing. Or in a database, or in a website, or a PDF. It will just be pasting in there and be refreshing. That's all. You just be cleaning up everything. And that's the essence of that automation. right? So once you have imported the data, the next thing you need to what? Clean it. And to clean it, you use what? What to do is to clean the data. That's where your Power Query comes in. Your Power what query comes in. Then we build a data model, right? A data what model. Sometimes if you have done SQL, you hear of EROD, entity relationship diagram, or you hear something like a star schema. I'm sure you get all these details much later. So how to structure to see all the relationship, right? So you need to clean, transform, right? Model it. Then the next one is to build a DAX. So a DAX is simply like your calculations, like your KPIs. So think about your KPIs in your organization. How do we capture those KPIs? So we have like calculated columns. We can have a calculated table, and we can have what? A calculated measure. There are certain either KPIs or tables you want to create. So these are that's what DAX. So DAX basically does calculations for you. Then the last one is to what? Visualize it. So what we are going to illustrate today, how do I import the data and how do I what? Build a simple dashboard. Right? And that's what we are going to look at now. Any questions so far?
Yes, sorry, good afternoon, good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I joined a few minutes ago because I had issue with the link was not going through, and the man that was supposed to put me through it was not online. So I had to like communicate via email twice. So I don't know how we were able to like, I don't know how it started. I don't know how the class started. I don't know how we got the table I'm seeing. I don't know if you imported it from somewhere.
No. I've not imported it. I'll just use to illustrate and explain Excel first. I was explaining something like the foundation. It's now where I want to start with Power BI.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir.
Now I want to start with Power BI. But there are some things in Excel we need to learn that we need to get familiar with before we come to Power BI. We are simply saying that your Power BI is a Gen Z version of Excel. The same knowledge you are using in Excel is what we are going to be using in Power BI. So that's basically it. Okay, so let me share my Power BI. Please confirm you can see my Power BI. Confirm you can see my Power BI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can see my Power BI? Okay, good. Now, when we open our Power BI, these are Power BI called Power BI Desktop. Called Power BI. Remember, under Power BI, there are three things there. There's Power BI Desktop, Power BI what service, is it not? And Power BI Mobile. Okay, there are three. Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and Power BI what? Mobile. Good. So what we have here is like a canvas. This is where you build your dashboard here, right? So that's why if I look on my extreme left, there are basically three things I need. Report view. This is where I'm doing my report, my dashboard. Then I have another one, table view. The way we look at it in Excel, you click on table view. So if you want to see the way the table is in like in Excel, I'll just click on table view. Then the last one is what? Model view. Model view is looking at what? Your data model. You also have the other ones, your DAX, query, and the rest. But these are the three major ones you need. Your report view, table view, and model view. Right? Good. Now, if I look on my extreme right, so at the middle here is where I have the canvas here, right? Where my dashboard will be. But there are three views there. Report view, table view, and model view. Anytime I'm looking for the dashboard, I go to where? My report view. On my extreme right is where I have my visualizations. It's where I have my what? Visualizations. Now the question is that there are so many visuals. How will I know which visual am I going to use? How will I know which visual am I going to use? Remember what we said, how you collect your data will determine how you are going to analyze it. Now, whenever you build your dashboard, right, anytime you build your dashboard and you send a report and they call you and say, can you explain what you did? How many of us they have called us and tell us, and they will call us to explain what we did? How many of us have done that? I've gotten that type of call. We probably have done a report. They did not call us to say, explain what you did here. The moment they call you and say, can you explain what you did in this place? Just say, sorry, sir, bring it back. Go and start that thing again. You have not done your job. Because that dashboard should what? Represent you without you being there. It's supposed to what? Communicate. So that's why when I'm choosing a chart, choose the one that people can easily understand. Choose the one that people can easily what? Understand. And that's why we see, what's the objective of our analysis? It depends on the question we are trying to answer. So it means, are we trying to compare? Are we comparing at a point in time, or are we comparing over time? If I am comparing at a point in time, so for example, I want to compare across our different products for a particular year, then I can use my simple word column chart or bar chart. But if I'm comparing over time, a long period of time, it can be monthly, right? Annual, right? Over a period of time, then what chart will be more appropriate? I will use a line chart. So I can use a column chart, bar chart, line chart. Now, if I'm trying to show a breakdown, like for example, a budget, so we have budgeted 100 billion. So this 100 billion is going to be shared across the different departments. So if I'm trying to show a breakdown, I'm going to use what? A what? Which chart will I use? I'm going to show a breakdown.
Pie chart.
Pie chart. So pie chart is for ancestors. The modern way of presenting it is what? Donut chart. Whenever you say
I didn't get that.
pie, I said to show a breakdown, right? We normally, yes, would have used pie chart, but I'm saying pie chart is for ancestors. The Gen Z version of it is what? The donut chart. So once you see a dashboard and you see pie chart, you just know that this person is an ancestor. Because that's how he has learned it. So you use what? Donut chart. So we have seen column chart, bar chart, line chart, donut chart. Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Then, if I want to represent one single value represent a single value. For example, the total budget is 100 billion. So how do I represent that 100 billion on the dashboard? Then I use what they refer to as what? A card visual. A card. Have you heard of card visual? Card.
Yes.
A card visual. Exactly. So that's what we're going to look at today. A card. So you see, those basic 5, anybody can interpret it. Anybody can what? Interpret it. Anybody can interpret it. So those are the basic 5 charts. What are they? Column chart, bar chart, line chart, donut chart, and what? Card.
Card visual.
Card visual. But if it's a geodata, like for example, state, country, right? We can now use what? Maps. That's another one you can also add, maps. Maps. So that's the 6. But those are the 5 common ones. Anybody can interpret it. You don't need to be a mathematician to interpret it. So use something that somebody can easily understand. Are we clear? Are we clear? Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in any visualization tool, I told you that there are 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? We import the data, we clean the data, we model the data, we do the calculation, is it not? A measure, and we visualize. So if your organization is switching to a Tableau, you ask yourself, how do I import data in Tableau? How do I clean the data in Tableau? How do I what? Model the data? How do I do calculations? And how do I what? Visualize? If maybe your organization is using Python or R, you ask yourself, how do I import data in R? How do I clean in R? How do I model in R? How do I build calculation in R? And how do I visualize in R? That 5 steps will work in every system. Every system. So once you have learned one, you can apply it in every other one. So can I go now? Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So our first step is to what? Import the data. Our first step is to what? Import the data. Now, before you import the data, you need to ask yourself, this data I am importing, is it an Excel file or is it a CSV file? Can you see that? Is it an Excel file or is it what? A CSV file. So the moment you see the file, that is what will determine whether you are going to what? Click on what? Import from Excel. But most times, the data we normally usually what? From Excel. So what do? We say import from Excel. Have we seen that now? So the first thing is to what? Import from Excel. Or I will come here to Excel workbook. Or if I want to see all of that, click here on get data. If I click on more, I will see all of them. Can you see all of them? There are so many. From file, you can see from folder, PDF, right? From databases, from online services, different tools. There are so many. But those are the common ones we normally work with. Right? Those are the common ones we work with. So if it's an Excel file, quickly I just click here, import from Excel. Then the file I'll be working with is sales data, and I click on open. Remember, what was our first step? Make sure that that Excel file has been what? Converted to table. Can you see that? We convert it to what? Table. So I can notice that there are 2 files here. What's different between both of them? What's different between both of them? Sales and retail sales dashboard. What's different between both of them? What's different between these two?
Probably the way they are saved.
The way they are saved. They are the same data sets. They are the same data, but there's a difference.
Like one had dashboard, the other is probably just maybe a table.
Both of them were all tables. Both of them were tables. So the difference is that this one is a sheet. That is the sheet name. It was called Retail Sales Dashboard. But this one is the one where we converted to table. It was saved as what? Sales. So which one do we go for? The table or the sheet?
The table.
Table.
Why?
Because that is, like you said before now, we said why we want to import data from Excel to Power BI, we must make sure that it is converted to a table.
Because of what? What reason?
Because of automation.
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 So once they update that data in Excel, all you do is come to Power BI, click refresh. That's all. Go and sip your tea or coffee. Or go and do point and kill fish. And your report will be working for you. We're in the era of working what? Smart. Not working hard. Work smart. All right. So we need to we select the one on blue. So this one on blue means is what? A table. So I'll click on what? Sales. Okay? I'll check it. So once I check it, the next thing I'll click on is on what? Load. Now, because this data is already clean, there's nothing I need to really do here. So that's why I'm not transforming the data. If you're there to clean it, I'll click transform. But here I'll just click on what? Load. I'll click on what? Load. I'll click on load. Now, you can see on my right here, can you see data on my right? Can you see data on my right now?
Yes.
So if I click on this drop down, you see all the columns I was looking at. All the columns.
Yes.
Can you see that? They are there. To see that table, just like I saw it in Excel, where do I click? I mentioned there are 3 of them. What are they? Report view, table view, and model view. So to see the table, where will I click on?
Visual.
Where will I click on?
The table view.
Table view.
The table
The
view.
table view is the one that will see the data like in Excel. Is this clear? Now, do you believe that you can learn Power BI in 5 minutes? No, 5 minutes is even too long. 2 minutes, you can learn Power BI. It is point and key, point and key, point and key. Drag and drop, drag and drop. But you see, dragging and dropping is the least of your problem. Remember, before we get to the data, where does the analytics start from? Where do we start it from? Before we get the data, where do we start from? Before we get data, where do we start from? Before we get data, where do we start from?
Excel?
Before you even get to Excel, before we even get to the Excel,
Database.
even before database, there's something there's point we are starting from. I gave you
You
the
see the raw
framework.
data to get the raw data.
I want to say before you get that raw data, I gave us a flow, a framework.
Okay, like the rules of Excel.
You are still focused on data. Data is the least of your problem. What is the business problem? What is the business? What problem is the business trying to solve?
You said something that you start by raising questions.
Thank you.
Your domain.
So it starts with the problem. It starts, what is the problem you are seeing? Oh, sales is dropping. We are losing customers. Cost is getting high. There is a business problem. From the problem, raise what? Questions. So the first task we need to do is what question am I trying to answer?
Then the objective of the analysis.
Yes, so once you know the question, then you are now clear the objective of your analysis, which is to provide answers to those questions.
Those questions, yes.
And answer those questions, what do I need? I need data. I see that. Where is the data coming from? A database. So what's my job as a data analyst? Is to extract that data, analyze that data, report that data, and present it to management. So it starts from where? The analysis starts from where?
Questions.
The problem, yes, the question, that problem. Good. So you must learn how to raise questions. Business questions. Ask questions, correct. Now let's look at this data quickly and ask a question. Look at this data quickly and ask a question. Frame it in a question, in a business question that manager will be interested in.
What sales did Chioma make in the food category, and how has the change in the change in sales and everything, something like that, Sha.
Sorry, it's not management you don't understand that question. You have to be specific. So one skill we must learn is how to question. Because if we don't put it right, if we don't question it right, that means if it's too vague, when they are analyzing it, right, or they are asking the question in a vague way, you won't even know how to approach it. So it is the question that will determine how you are going to approach it. So let's start with a simple one. One yearly. So let's put a simple question. A simple question. Raise a simple question. Let's start with a simple question.
What product is Lagos buying more?
Okay, what product is Lagos buying more? All right. Good. Where's another one? And that's why, as a data analyst, the moment you are seeing the data, ask yourself, what domain is this? This data, where is it coming from? So you must be wearing the heart of this data. So you must be thinking like that person. So this data most likely is what kind of data is this and what industrial domain will this fall under?
Okay. In Lagos, how many
Provision store.
how many
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
So I'll be asking the question that in each of your region, are we having the highest sales, and in each of the region, are we having the lowest? So we can know how to prioritize.
Okay, I like that. So which region has the highest sales? Is it not? Which
Yes.
region has the highest sales? Okay, let's start with that one. That one is more straightforward. Now, but when we look at this data, what domain is this data? This domain. What domain is this data?
Like sales.
Like sales or retail. Is it not sales or retail? Right? So the first thing must you must put your heart as a retail or salesperson. Start thinking like a salesperson. And that's the job of a data analyst. He plays so many roles. So once you see a finance data, you'll be thinking like a finance person. Once you see medical data, you'll be thinking like a medical person. So your role can be changing, and that's the interesting thing about a data analyst. There are different projects with different dynamics. So you must think like everybody. But if you already know your own domain so well, can you see that? All you are doing, you are holding your domain knowledge, and when you see the data, you can interpret it so well. Ask questions. If the question does not make sense, you know how to dimension it. And that's the essence of it. So let's start with this first question. So what region generates the highest sales? Now, if I look at it, what are the variables in that question? Which region generates the highest sales? What are the variables that you can see? What variables can you see there? What variables can you see?
Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kano.
So when we say a variable, from the question, what are the variables?
Okay, from the
variable? Yes.
Yeah, from the question, I'm seeing region, and also I'm seeing quantity and price.
From the question, not from the data, from the question. Which region generates the highest sales? So what are the variables there?
Region is a variable.
Region,
beautiful. Region and what? Region and what? Sales, beautiful. That's all. That's all. Once I've identified the variables, that means in a variable, it can either be quantitative or qualitative. Is it not? That means our qualitative data is what is called categorical data. Our quantitative is called numeric data. You see that now? From the question, I will identify the variables. The variable can either be what? Categorical or numeric. Categorical means it's qualitative. Numeric means it is what? Quantitative. So that means my analysis can either be what? Categorical. It can either be what? Categorical numeric, or it can be what? Numeric. So that question, which region generates the highest sales? So what are the variables now? We have seen region, we have seen sales. So which is categorical, which is numeric?
Region is
I think sales is numeric. Region is categorical.
Region is what?
Categorical.
All right. Good.
Sales is numeric.
Beautiful. Now, do we have sales in this data? Sales.
No, not directly.
Not directly.
Yes.
And that's why, you see from the question, they said sales. But do I have the data to answer sales? How do they measure sales? The only thing I have here is what? Quantity. So you need to ask them, do you mean quantity sold?
Unit price.
But they said no. What I know as sales is revenue.
Unit price, unit quantity.
But I don't have revenue directly. But indirectly, can I generate it?
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. So that means from the data you ask yourself, can I generate new data from already existing data?
Yes.
Can we see that?
Yes.
Then in that case, I will come here to my data. I can come here to what? New column. And I say, okay, my revenue is equals to what? Quantity, is it not? Sales quantity times what?
Multiply by unit price.
Price. Can you see where domain knowledge comes in? If I did not, mathematics they were doing in primary school that time, if I did not remember it, I will look at this data from morning till I will not even know what to do. What have I done? I have calculated revenue. So do I have revenue now?
How do you do it? Yes.
Look at it. I'll come here, new column. Can you see that? New column. I'll now type revenue is equals to what? Price. Can you see that? Times what?
Quantity.
Quantity. I'll press enter. Because it already exists, I'll just leave it. Yeah? So it's price times quantity. So now I have what? Revenue. Beautiful. Yes. So can I answer this question now?
Yes.
So now I have what? So now I have what?
Revenue.
And I now have what? Revenue. Beautiful. So let's go now. Remember I told you it's point and kill. Point and kill. So what am I pointing to? Region. And I will point to what? Revenue. Can you see that now? What does this remind you in Excel? What does this one remind you in Excel?
Pivot.
Pivot table.
Exactly. Then the next thing I will do is now what? To plot what? The chart. Let's see for the chart. And that's all. So can we answer this question now? Which region?
Yes.
I didn't hear you well.
Kano.
Kano. That's it now. Kano. Does this make sense now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Let's go another one. So which product generates the highest revenue? What do I do? I'll come here again. Remember, I point and kilo. I'll point to product. I will point to revenue. You see that? And I can use my chart there, my bar chart. Now, which is bar chart? Which is column chart? This one is called what? This one is called what?
Column chart.
The first one is column, the second is bar.
Yes. You know, there's one, this is the nonsense they taught us in school then, that this is a bar chart.
Yes, so yeah.
So that's why.
Yes, so economics.
Yes. Our first task is to try to unlearn those nonsense they taught us. Then we keep what? Relearning. Okay. So this is called what? A bar chart. This is called what? A column chart. Is that clear?
Column chart.
Yes, sir.
Another thing again we would like to do, we want to see how our sales over time, has changed. So what do? We drag dates here. Now, if you look at your date, there are different dates. So you have year, you have quarter, you have month, you have year. So maybe I'm looking at monthly revenue. Monthly revenue. So what do I do? Monthly revenue. So what do? I will delete day, delete month, delete quarter. So I only have 1 year. Only 1 year. So that means for a month, that means what do? I'll take it back again. I will delete my year, delete my quarter, delete my day. I will leave only a month. Then take my revenue there. Can you see that now? Then what chart is most appropriate for this?
Line chart.
Line chart. Why is that? Why is it a line chart?
So it's spanning through a long period of time.
Exactly. So I can what? See a trend. It's not over time. Let me see the trend. Let me see the word trend. Makes sense?
August.
Good. So let's look at another one again. Which person makes the highest sales? Which person makes the highest sales? From the data, can you see from the data who makes the highest sales?
Yes.
Not really, because you have to be looking for
You
it
have
and
to
looking
go
for it.
down. You have to go down, exactly.
Yeah, and it's a
That
whole
was
lot
a,
of work.
that's so exactly. That was a data in their natural form don't make any sense. So we want to increase salary, but it's based on who performs best. Will it based on who you know,
No.
or who is friendly, or who is making tea for MD? It's based on performance, and we need data, we need facts. So we go to the data, what do we do? Point and kill, is not point to sales rep, point to what?
Sales rep.
Let me see that. I can see the breakdown. Or I can even do a. So which salesperson?
David.
It's what? David.
David.
David. Ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, I've done a simple
I
dashboard.
have a question though.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I learned in my other cohorts doing Excel, I learned that the standard number of listens that should be in a donut chart is 4. But then I see other people's dashboards for the donut chart, the portion that should be on the donut chart, and I see like 7, 6, 8 sometimes.
So once it's too large, right? So for example, if I look at this revenue by product, if I go and use a do not chart, you see, if there are quite a lot, it doesn't really tell me much, right? But if it's a breakdown, okay, probably I can see something here. But don't forget, the question is that what is it communicating? It's not whether even if I use this one, immediately I can see something here. The rice is the most, has the highest selling product, already it's communicating something to me. But if there are also many, or just so many, what is it communicating? So that's why they say yes, 4, 5, 6 is okay. But the question you ask yourself, what is this thing communicating? Does this make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Does this make sense?
Beautiful. Because the other one, you might not notice the difference.
All right, good. Now, we said there, I mentioned how many charts did I mention? I've mentioned what? Column chart. I've mentioned what? Bar chart, right? Which other one? Okay, I said the pie chart. So this is pie chart. But we said this is the ancestor way of doing it. What's the Gen Z version? Donut chart. This is donut. This is Gen Z. This is the Gen Z version of it. Donut chart. Can you see that now? And because it's Power BI, it's very easy it's more user friendly than Excel. If I was doing this in Excel, I would struggle. You can do this in Excel, but
honestly, I'm shocked that we've gone this far.
But in Power BI, I see point and key. 5 minutes I have already done. That I say in 5 minutes you can learn it. And I've done a simple dashboard. A simple dashboard. And if I have submitted this dashboard, even if I am not there, can somebody read it to understand it?
Yes, sir.
Without me being there.
Yes.
Is it not? But by the time I go and start using complex, I use a complex, I come and explain what this, they'll call it, sorry, sales by rep, what were you trying to do there? The moment you cannot communicate, just say, sorry, sir, let me do that report again.
You start afresh.
Start afresh. In case you have made a mistake, you can press Ctrl Z. You can go to it. All right. Are we clear with this?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes, sir. But sir, how do you add colors so that you can see each
So that will come to editing, but that one I may not have all the time to do that now. But what you generally would do, I would have clicked on it, is not come here to everything I want to format, I'll come here. Can you see slices? Then I can now say color. Can you see that? You say David, for example, if I say all color, right?
Okay, sir.
David. So maybe David, I want to give David maybe gray. Then I go and change it there. But this is editing will take most of our time, but let me not bother us with that. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
If, for example, look at this now, revenue by product. Can you see we have so many products? So I want to get what's my top 5 products. My top 5 products. So what do? You go and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I want to represent it now. I don't want to all these other ones to show. So what do? That's why when you're analyzing data, there are 2 basic things you do in your analysis. It may be more than 2, but let's say there are 4 basic things you will do when you're analyzing data. The first is that you're trying to summarize. You want to summarize the data. So how do we summarize this data? We want to summarize it. How do we summarize? We do, in school then they taught us mean, median, mode. Is it not? So they are called descriptive statistics. So what's the minimum value? What's the maximum value? What is the average? Do you remember that in school?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
remember minimum value? What's the maximum value? What's the average? What is the median? Now, the mean and the median, which is more reliable? Mean and median, which is more reliable? Mean or median, which is more reliable?
Mean.
The mean, right? Do you all agree? The mean is more reliable.
I will go for me. I will go for
all right. Do you have paper and biro close to you? Do you have any paper and biro near you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write it. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, calculate the mean, calculate the median for me. What is the mean? What is the median? Calculate the mean, calculate the median.
Median is 3.
Median is what?
3.
3. Mean is what?
3.
7.5.
3. Come and call your children. Call your children. Come and check whether they are school fees.
15.
Come and call them. Let them calculate for you. So what's the mean? What's the median?
7.5.
They are both 3.
They are both 3, is it not? There's no difference,
Yeah.
They are both the same thing.
Median.
So which one do we go
They are
for? Which
both
one do we
3,
go
yeah.
for? Anyone, is it not? It doesn't matter at this stage.
Yeah, anyone.
Now, let us go and change that 5. Change that 5 now to 1,000. Change 5 to 1,000. Change 5 to 1,000.
1,000 on top.
Change that 5 to 1,000. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000. Now, give me the mean, give me the median.
Median is 3.
Median is what? 3. What is the mean?
Divided by 1,000.
2.
0.2.
The mean is 202.
The mean is 202, is it not? So mean 202, median is what? 3, is it not?
What does he want to do that we are taking
Mean is what? 202, right? Median is what?
Yes, 202.
So which one represents that data there? The mean or the median? Which is more representative of that data? Mean or median?
Median. The median, because it's not affected by extreme facts.
Exactly. And this is the nonsense that they taught us in school then, is it not? There's something they fail to tell us. that you can only use the mean, right? You can only use the mean when the data is what normally distributed.
Normally what? Distributed.
Normally distributed. What does normally distributed mean? It means that what? There are no what? Outliers. For example, imagine those are the monthly salaries of different people. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 1 billion. Because Dangote is in this place. Dangote, 1 billion. So now say, oh, therefore we can conclude that the average salary of this executive is 202 million per month. Would that be correct? Would that be correct? To say that the average salary is 202 million. Would that be correct? Would that be correct to say that the average salary is 202 million?
No.
No, is it not? Why? Because that 1,000 is called what? An outlier. Can you see that? So outlier, presence of Dangote. That's an outlier. So which means when there's a presence of outlier in your data, your mean becomes what? Misleading. So instead, what do you use? What do you use?
Median. Median.
That is why in some report you see the median age, the median salary, the median income, the median. Have you seen that before? Instead of them using average, they're using median.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, median accommodate outliers. I've forgotten. That's true.
It's not sensitive to outliers, exactly. So that's why if I want to find out, for example, how much did we sell? I'll take it here. Can you see that? I want to see our total sales. But because it's a single value, how do I represent? What chart can I use to represent a single value? What chart do I use to represent
Colon.
A single value? Which chart?
Bar.
A single value.
Bar.
We mentioned it. Card visual, correct. Card visual. So look at my card visual here. So once I have, so look at what I have done. I will just drag revenue here. So look at it. I'll drag revenue here. I'll make sure it's clicked there. Can you see on the chart? I will have 1, 2, 3. You can see 1, 2, 3. Can you see the card now? 1, 2, 3. So that means this is my total revenue. Can you see my total revenue now? Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
So if I want to do another one again, I'll come here again, revenue, switch it to what? Card. Now, if, for example, I want to say, okay, what is the minimum revenue? I'll switch it here. Can you see? I'll come here to this value, click this drop down, switch it to what? Minimum. If I want to check for the maximum, what do I do? I'll drag it again, switch it again to what? A card, switch it to what? Maximum. What's the importance of doing this? To check minimum and maximum. What's the importance of this? Why do I need to know whether there's minimum, this minimum and maximum value? Why is it important?
For the range.
Yes, for the range. Yes, but there's a main reason. To check if there's presence of what? Outliers. That's the easiest way to check your outlier. Minimum, maximum. Can you see that? And this is where your domain knowledge comes in, to know whether this thing makes sense. If, for example, I say everybody enter your age. In the process of typing 28, you press to the T for 8 work, I will see it there. Or somebody in this class is actually 88. So there are two reasons an outlier can arise. One is by what? Error, another one is by nature. Does that make sense? Are we clear? Good. Now, another thing again we can do I will take my revenue again here, switch it to my card. Then I will now switch it to what? I can switch it to what? Average. Can you see average here? Can you see my average there? Or I can do another one again. I can take my revenue here. I can take my revenue here, switch it to a card, switch this again to what? Median. I will look at it now. Look at the median, look at the average. The difference, is it much or is it small?
It's small compared to the max.
They are comparing average and median.
Oh, okay.
And median. Is it difference between median and the mean? Is it large?
Yes, it's too large.
If it's large, which one will you go for? Mean or median?
Median.
You go for the median, exactly. And this is the nonsense many of us have been taught, that is the average you use. And that average can become what? Misleading. Does that make sense? So now say the average revenue the employees are making is 32K. But meanwhile, when we want to pay bonus, many of them do not even meet that target. So if the gap between both of them is not much, so for example, I have 32,000, I have 30,000. If it's not too much, I can pick anyone. But the moment the gap is large enough, which one do I go for? Always go for the big one. I hope that is clear.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that is a word card visual. I'm sure we're clear with this now. Now let me do another one. Okay. Now, how many transactions have we had here? How many transactions have we had? So what we can do here, I can simply maybe even take maybe my, so if I want to get the transaction, so if I look at the data here, so you can see how many I check them. So what I can do, maybe I can take maybe a sales. So which one do you want me to use? I can pick anyone. Which one do you want to use? Right. Revenue. Okay, let me use revenue. Let me use revenue. Now, in this case, if I'm using revenue or even sales rep, let me use sales rep. So how many transactions have we had? How many transactions have we had? So what do we do? I will switch it to a card. Can you see that? From here, I will switch it here. So I will take it to values. So let me take it to values. So I will take my sales rep to what? Values. Can you see that? Then I will switch it to what? A count. Can you see count? So how many transactions have we had? How many transactions have we had?
1K.
1,000 what?
1,000.
So we do a what count. But how many sales reps do we have? So if I come here again to sales rep, how many sales reps do we have? How many sales reps do we have? So to count the 5, what do we do? I'll switch it to what? A count distance. Can you see the difference now? Count, we count everything in the data. But to count the unique one, I'll use what? Count distance. That's the difference between both of them. Count and count distance. To count this thing, we count the unique. We count what? The unique ones. Are you clear?
So sorry, just
Yes, sir.
That distinct count. You can just go back a little. If I didn't
So
get that part.
So look at it. So let's say, for example, products. So how many products do we sell? If I use a count, right, if I switch it to a card, right, and I switch it to, let me come back here, to cards, and so I have to move it to values here, right? So if I switch it to a count, is it 1,000 products we sell? How many products do we sell? This one is like say number of transactions, that's the count. But the number of products we actually sell is what? I will switch it to what? I'll switch it to what? Account listing. So we have 10 products.
Okay.
Can you see that? But the total number of transactions we have is 1,000.
Yeah.
But the unique product we sell is 10. So just the same way, how many sales reps do we have? So it means that, look at it, of these 32 million, is not, we have the median revenue of this, a total of what? 1,000 what transaction. We sold what? 10 products. How many sales people did this thing? My sales shop, how many sales shops generated this? I'll switch it again. It's how many? 5. So I'll do a what? This thing count. So 5 people generated this 32 million. So what this is doing is trying to what? Lay the context. Does this make sense now?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Good. So that's your current visual, right?
Sir,
Yeah.
So when do we use scatter plots?
Now, scatter plots, when you are trying to find relationship between two numeric values, so for example, price and units, maybe like quantity and revenue, or price and units, right? That one is actually showing me my scatter plot. So for example, if I take my quantity, so anytime it's giving you direct chart, what you can do, switch it to back to a table so that I can see it. You see, because it's doing a sum automatically for you, if you don't want that, what you can now do, come here and say, do not summarize. Can you see that? Do not summarize. Then maybe I can take here my maybe price. Can you see that? Give me price. Then I can come here and do a scatter chart. So you can see the scatter chart now, right?
I
So
didn't get
usually,
that. Can you take it again?
sorry. Yeah, okay. So the point here is that you use scatter chart for two quantitative variables. Can you see? Numeric. So it's for looking for relationship. If I'm looking at my relationship between quantity and price, then I'll come here to my scatter chart. And I'll just move one of them to the y-axis. That's it. And if I want to break it down maybe by category, then I can come here, take it to either my legends. Again, if I want to see by the sales shop, I would have taken it by maybe, let me take it. So let me take my values. Let me take it by, where's my revenue? Let me take by revenue. And let me take that out. Oh, sorry, I just explained to you. So to use your scatter plot to find relationship between two numeric variables, what do? I take it to my x-axis, take the other one to my what? Y-axis. So my y-axis. To my y-axis. But I have to tell it what? Do not summarize. Do not summarize so that you arrange it. So that's why most times when you are doing this scatter plot, you have to be careful when you do it.
That is what I'm saying. And this, which one is the relations? How do they relate? The other one, you see the movement and all these things. Just carry something, drop, say scatter chart. You can read this. You can understand this. How do you understand that one?
I know they explain that one. Don't bother yourself with it. All right. So quickly.
Hello, sir. A question, please.
Right.
Okay, please. Yeah, regarding the part where you talk about the outliers, that you use media instead of the average. So I still think if the outlier exists in your data set, it will still affect some other variables. Maybe the outlier exists in your unit price or your unit sold. And maybe you're having like 1, 2, 3, like minimum of 10. You're not having like 100,000 or maybe 10,000, and you are plotting a graph. You asked to check for, let's say, like what we did the first time when we did the region and the sales and the revenue. So you still affect your plotting because you're going to be shooting abnormally some particular month, which is not going to be real. So I don't know if there's any way for us to actually from a data set, identify the outliers, and try to predict or correct it.
So that's why, yes, I agree with you. That's why you need to check for minimum and maximum, the minimum value and maximum value. So once it gives you tell you that there's an outlier, you already know that you need to adjust for it.
Yes, instead of just dichotomy,
Yes,
just go
exactly. Yeah. It is when we come back for the full session, then that's what we do it. How do you manage outlier, missing data, and all those things? Okay. So quickly, if for example I have this, I want to get my top 5 products by revenue. So what do we do? When we analyze, remember I told you use what? Descriptive statistics or summary statistics. Another thing you want to do is to find relationship, just like your scatter chart, you can find relationship. But another thing again you want to do is to compare. I want to what? Compare. Another thing I want to do is to predict. I want to do a prediction. Those are the basic things. But at the end of the day, what I would like to find out, what are my highest, what are my lowest? Is it not? So to find that, what do I do? I can either what sort, is it not? I can what sort it. So when I say top 5 products, so what do I do? I need to sort it out. So to sort it out, what I can do to get my top 5, make sure I click on this my chart. If you come here, can you see filters? Can you see filters? Can you see your filters here? Then I will notice that here I will see basic filtering. Can you see filtering? I'll click on it. I'll see top end. What's top end? I want to see top 5 products. By what? Revenue. I'll drag my revenue here and click what? Apply filter. So can you see my top 5 now? These are my top 5 products. So now you see the chart is now looking cleaner now. Rather than it looking very clumsy. It's not looking more cleaner. And that thing again we like to do is, for example, I would like to filter my data. So one thing we do as analysts is to sort, we filter. I'm sure we do that in Excel. And to do that, we use what we refer to as what? A slicer. Have you heard of a slicer before? A slicer.
Yes, sir.
So maybe I want to slice it by, let's say, so let me take one. Let me slice by, what have we not used here? Okay, let's slice by category. Let's slice by region. Okay, let me slice by category. Okay. Let's just slice by category. But what I would have done, let me, okay, in place of this region here, so let me take out region and use category there instead. Yeah, let me use category there. Then in terms of my slicing, let me use my region there. Right? So this, how do I want to filter my report? So I want to filter it by region. So what do? I click on this, then you will see where you have your words. Your field, currency slicer, button slicer. So you have different kind of slicers, different kind of slicers. So anything you want to edit, you just come here to format your visual slicer settings. You have different ways of slicing them, So with the new updated Power BI now, you have different kind of word slicers. If I come back here again by region, where's my region? And become a slicer. So that's my slicer. So what do? I can come here to my format, your visual slicer setting, and switch it towards a file. So this is the normal one you see, normal reports. Have you not seen this in normal reports? So how did we perform in Abuja? How did we perform in Kano? How do we perform in Lagos? How do we perform in Port Harcourt? Does that make sense now? Right? Then we would like to quickly put in what? A title for this report. So we just use a text. So what should this report be called? What should we call this report? What should we call this report? Yes? What should we call this report?
Sales report.
So let's say sales, okay, that's fine. Sales performance report. So just the way you normally edit in Excel and the rest, you can always come here, format it, change whatever color you like. And you see that you have your sales performance report. Can you see that now? Then if, for example, you want to bring in your company, like your company logo, what do we do? Come here, insert image. So let me see that. Let me see image. Okay. Probably let me use another. Most times, let's see, shapes. Now this one you can just easily edit them as the way you like. Yeah? Let's see now, if you're using the older one, the older version, you don't have to go through all this. So here, that means I have to come here and upload it. Browse, then come here to my data, let's say logo, open. I see it now. But this is a longer version of how it's done. Before now, you just click on the set and it will come in there. So let's say this is our company logo. Can I see that? And let's say this is my sales report. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we have built a simple dashboard. So it is difficult to do. Is this difficult to do?
Oh, I lost when you were doing
No.
slicer.
Okay. No, don't worry, but this the essence of this just to show you how it is, where it's going. Now let me just illustrate one more thing. So let's say you have built all this. Now, once you have done all this your dashboard, make sure you clean them up. It's not proper you write sum of revenue. You have to be writing them properly. For example, this is the total revenue, median revenue, number of transactions, right? So you have anytime you are labeling them, you have to come here, format your visuals, and label them properly. So you see your title, you can put it on, you can title it. Let's for example, I say total. I can call this one total revenue. You can see the title is on top, right? While this one, when I come here to my visual, so let me click on it again. So all those your images, let me see. So here, that title I have there. So my visual, will come back. Card. So if you cannot remember, I just say maybe title. So my title, I have off on. But if I don't want it here, what I can simply do, I just come here. You can see here, I don't want anything there. I can just maybe I can just delete that. Delete there. So probably just delete. Once it needs something to be there, so probably I'll just, you know what I'll do? I'll just put a full stop there. But anything you want to edit, you edit it from here. But the thing is that there are so many things there. There are so many things. You have to start looking for all of them. You have to look for all of them. Header icons, teeth, effects, all those colors that you want. It's all here. You're going to find all of them. So I don't have time to start editing all of them, but don't leave them clean. Make sure they are all clean. Yeah? Make sure they are all clean. Then the last thing again, I'll just show you. For example, if I want to interpret this report, I want to interpret this report. Can someone interpret what's going on in this data? So if I click on this, I can come here and say data labels. Can you see that? I come here, data labels on, and here. Okay, so let's say I have something like this. So I want to interpret it. So how do we interpret it? So if I want to interpret this, Power BI has something called smart narrative. So if I come here, I say narrative. Can you see the interpretation for it? Can you see the interpretation? If I want to extract the narrative. But if you don't want to do that, another thing again you can use, you know how to take screenshots? You know how to take screenshots with your
No,
system?
sir. Is it the normal snap?
Yes, yes. You can use your sniping. Yes, you can use your sniping too. Yes.
Yeah.
So in this place, I'll press my Control Windows Shift S. Yeah? Just to snipe it. Can I say I'll take a picture of it? Can I say I'll take a picture of it? I'll take a picture of it. Then let me stop sharing. Let me quickly go to my.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Please, sir, are you that description? I did not quite get what you
Did you
did.
get what?
That description.
No, I use Windows Shift S. Windows Shift S.
I'm talking about the description. That interpretation, those wordings that came out.
No, don't worry about that one. I want to show you something else. So can you see my chat GPT here? Can you see my chat GPT, my screen? Chat GPT here. Yes. So I've taken a screenshot. So I don't want it to be in the public. So what I'll do, I'll come here. Can you see temporary chat off? Can you see that? You can see what they said. This chat won't appear in your chat history and won't be used to train our models. So that means it's not going to be uploaded on their own system. But either way, just make sure that you don't put anything that's private that's there. So what I can do, I'll just paste it here. And what do I tell it? I'll tell it what? Write a report to management and extract the insights and make strategy. Or what else do you want to tell it? Recommendations. I press enter. Go and order for your coffee. And let it do the work for
No,
you.
it's not sharing here.
It's not sharing. You can't see my screen.
Sharing.
Yes, sir.
I can see it.
I can see your screen.
Okay.
Maybe it's my network. Let me.
Maybe it's your network. So it's just writing the report for you. So you're just highlighting it, right? So what you are going to do, tell it, no, sir, write in form of a memo or whatever format you have, give it to it. So write in form of a memo / in paragraphs and in paragraphs. Because AI is very foolish. It's what you understand that you first do. So you now tell him, no, sir, do it this way. If this format does not work, go and copy a structure that you like, give it to it and say, I follow this format. Can you see that? So it will go and interpret everything for you. So if you are writing a letter or whatever thing you are writing, can you see that? Or what are the key insights management need to focus on? But you see again where your own domain knowledge comes in. Because whatever ChatGPT, you don't even know whether it's correct or not. Can you see that? You don't even know whether it's correct or not. And that is why you don't be at the mercy of the AI. Because it can mess you up. So this is where your domain knowledge comes in. This is where your domain knowledge. So check, okay, what he has done for me, does it make sense? If it makes sense, then quickly you can go and check what it's telling you and whether this thing makes sense or not. So this is how you build your dashboard, you work with AI. But if you have one more minute, I can also show you another one. Bricks AI. How many of us have heard of Bricks AI? Bricks AI. There are so many of them. So when you come for the training, we'll show you so many kind of ways of doing this. But this is just to illustrate how these things work. So let's see this. can work before we go there. I think bricks AI. Bricks AI dashboard. Okay, so bricks AI. So let me see. All right, good. So let's say we have a file here. Can you see my screen? So let's say you have a file here. So let me say attach.
Yes, you can see your screen.
So let me add that. Let me quickly add that file there. So I say create dashboard. But I don't know if because most times these things are like they are like you know they usually do this freemium. Some parts are free, then the minister asks you to pay. You just okay create dashboard. So you can take up a minute or two. So this is the file, right? So you go and order for your point and kill while it's working for you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, the chat GPT you use, is it a free version or a paid version?
It's a paid version. But the free version can still do the same thing for you. The free version can also do the same thing for you. But the only thing with AI, please, is not all your company data you can be allowed to put online. So you have to be careful with that. So either you mask it or find a way to it. All right. So it is already, I've already used my, but you can see the dashboard already, right? You can see the dashboard that's done for you. But you see, with your knowledge, you still need to guide it on what it needs to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure be with you guys, and we have come to the end of the demo. So over to you, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Please, I have a question here.
Okay, go ahead. If Danny allows, then go ahead.
Okay,
Let's get
sorry,
to
thank you. If we want to when we want to import data from Excel to Power BI, and we forgot to save it as a table. Yeah. So when we get to Power BI, we don't realize that it is not saved as a table. Can we save it as a table on Power BI without going to Excel, without going back to Excel?
No. What is the
Go all
Power
the way
BI?
back to Excel.
You have to go back. Your Excel is the source because Excel is the source.
See that it was right, but this one is to use that don't set of that pie chart.
All right.
That's the session.
No, sir.
We are sorry the time is. We might not be able to take all the questions for now. So we have another session coming up or starting on the 8th of April, which you all can also attend. That will be more comprehensive than this. We're going to start from Excel. We're going to use Power BI, and also we're going to talk on Python programming language. So that session is more robust than what we have today. So I want to encourage everyone